Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library. Tetris Blast. Oh, I love both of those words. We've touched on Tetris plenty of times on Game Boy Roulette, but as a quick recap, puzzle game, billions of dollars, blocks fall, fleeing the Soviet Union. Alright, that should bring us all up to speed. But as we've also touched on Game Boy Roulette, Tetris was a game that had a lot of iterations. Whether it was adding a professor and weird platforming puzzles, having Pac-Man show up to eat your failures, or whatever the hell Hatris was, they always tried to play around with Tetris to find a new way to put a spin on the concept. Now, it didn't really need iterating. Tetris is one of those games that they perfected from the start, but hey, effort is always appreciated. And so, Tetris Blast appeared. But here's the odd thing, it wasn't even supposed to be a Tetris game. Originally released in Japan and developed by Bulletproof, the game wasn't Tetris, but Super Bombliss. Where does Bombliss come from? Well, Bulletproof also released a Famicom game called, Tetris 2 Plus Bombliss, which had Bombliss as its own mode. This was not to be confused with the other Tetris 2, released in Japan as Tetris Flash, which also featured bombs. Man, the early days of Tetris were weird. I'm glad things are a bit more straightforward now, when we just have Tetris, and Tetris 99, and Tetris Effect, and Tetris Beat, and Tetris Forever, and God, has Tetris always been this confusing? I just want to stack some blocks. I don't quite know how to explain this, but the box art just looks like a Game Boy game. Something about the 3D blocks, the color palette, the bomb right in the center. If you showed me this without any indicator of what system it was on, I would just know it was meant for the Game Boy. So, how does this Tetris variant go? Let's have a blast with Tetris Blast. Ooh. Flashy. Whoa, oh god. Tetris Blast. I'm not sure what to make of this music. It's not bad, but it doesn't feel fitting for Tetris. What am I saying? This isn't Tetris, it's Tetris Blast. Let's do this. Contest. Fight? No, contest. Oh, it's one of these, where you can choose what stage you begin in. Kinda. Either you can only choose the first 3 stages, or there's 3 levels in the game. There. Let's put this down here. Ah! Oh, wait a sec. Okay, I might already be figuring this out. What if we put a couple bombs next to each other? No? What? Only 3. That's illegal. And there was a 2 earlier. I didn't even think about that. Alright, let's take a look at this stuff here. Aha! Okay, so Tetris Blast appears to be... Wait a sec. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. The Tetrises don't clear the whole line. Got it. Okay, the Tetrises don't clear the whole line. They only clear around it. You need to use the bombs. That's an interesting twist. Oh, here we go. Check this out. Bam. Yeah. I'm still a little iffy on this music. It's not bad, but it does not feel fitting for this kind of game. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I always feel like puzzle games need something... I don't even know how to describe it, because I'd say chill, but Tetris music was not chill. Yeah, maybe it's just me. I'll gladly take the L on that one, but I won't take the L on this. Whatcha? Darn it. Oops. Oh, darn it. Oh, God, I have a cavern of failure down there. But what if... You know what? Maybe having pieces that aren't 4 is a good thing in this game. A lot like Tetris Plus, I'm enjoying the twist on the gameplay here. Again, this wasn't specifically a Tetris game, it was Bombliss. But I'm enjoying what they're doing with it. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and consider that a T-spin. Close enough. Yeah. You know what? There are a couple other modes, though. I'm curious about those modes, because I'm definitely giving this a recommendation. This is a great twist on Tetris. But what else is there? Training. Select speed. 9. Oh, God. Oh, wow. Wow, they're not kidding about the speed. I see. So in this case, it gives you a big view of how many are next. So it lets you train your Tetris skills. I wouldn't mind if there was a way to turn off the bombs so you could practice, but that's not a deal breaker by any means. It's just, oh my God. Okay, this is a little too much Tetris for me. I can do this. I can absolutely do this. I really could. There's a couple. Oh, I screwed everything up. Oh my God, this is the worst. Or I'm a genius. All right, the practice mode's a fun little feature. But what does fight mean? What am I looking at? Sure? Gloop. What? I am profoundly confused. Why is Gloop? Gloop has a health bar, I just noticed. It's a Tetris boss fight? Oh, that's so weird! And it looks like if Gloop hits you, it pulls you straight down. Oh, this is so weird. They put boss fights in Tetris. And yet, I kinda dig it. It's so weird that it's kinda working, especially in the context of this version of Tetris having explosions. Huh. What do the other two do? Show me, Squidly. Does it do the same thing? Oh, what is this? Oh, God! I also quickly looked at a guide. There's, I think 8 different bosses to fight. I'm kind of loving this. This is the kind of thing where they put a twist on Tetris in a really good way. Not only do we have an interesting new Tetris mode, but Tetris can finally become the fighting RPG that we always knew it would be. Oh, you are so screwed. Uh-oh. Mistakes! Look at Squidly's smug face. What a bastard. Proof that no matter how many bombs you add, Tetris is still Tetris. Tetris has done a lot of attempts at formula iteration, but Tetris Blast was one of those cases where they only made minor changes to how it played. But those minor changes were good ones that spun off the game just enough to feel fresh while not feeling like a total departure from the original. You still dropped blocks to try to make rows, but the addition of bombs you have to activate to clear the rows turns the Tetris formula on its head, adding a lovely level of strategy to proceedings. I liked how it had progression too, with each level being a bit more difficult than the last with preset tiles. It reminded me of Tetris Plus in a good way, and the satisfaction of blowing up an entire screen of blocks, well, that was just a lovely cherry on top. You know what really made this game stand out, though? The amount of variety in the different modes. I really appreciated that dedicated training mode that lets you play with the mechanics with much lower stakes and a better look at what pieces are coming next. And of course, the boss fights were wonderful, perfectly blending the mechanics with an extra action element that forces you to think on your toes and change how you're playing. It's something the original Tetris did too with its B mode, and for a small puzzle game on the Game Boy, it goes a long way. So having multiple bosses, all with their own mechanics, is really quite impressive. Obviously, this game isn't better than the original Tetris, but on its own, it's a really fantastic puzzle game and is worth checking out. It takes the noble starting point of Tetris and iterates it in a new, interesting, and fun way. Turns out it's easy to play with Tetris mechanics. You hear me, Hatris? This is how you do it. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm Brian J, and I'll see you next time.